Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're listening to Walk-ins Welcome, the podcast all about helping you triple your revenue through digital marketing services and exceptional patient experience. My name is Nick Horde, and we are in a kind of a special episode today. Every once in a while, we like to put together a webinar monthly that goes out to our patient care community, where we teach and train on all things digital marketing, and we deep dive into the services that are going to help your practice grow. And this is a special one all about website conversion and how to set your website up to make your business more money and to bring on more patients. Michael hosts this webinar, and he does an outstanding job of covering 12 critical elements to enhance your conversions on your website. So I want to encourage you to sit and listen and take some notes. This is going to be a good episode. I also want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, the Patient Care Marketing Pros YouTube channel, to really dive into some of the content here. And then finally, in the link in the description, podcast description below, there's a link for you to be able to download a resource that we've put together for you. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll talk to you soon.
So, talking about the website itself, no matter what you do, obviously digital is a big part of what we discuss. They're going to that website. And if it's not there built correctly, in the sense of fast, in the sense of easy access, and basically like there's just, when they get there, they get that relatable part. Like, I know where I'm going. I don't know about you guys, but whenever you see like a shopping ad, you say you're shopping for shoes or you're shopping for really anything, and you click on an ad and you click on it and it goes to the website that's supposed to have that product for sale for you to buy, and it goes to a different product. You're like, that's not what I clicked on. I'm really, really confused. Oh, we have somebody else. Let me pop them in right there. So Brianna is on as well. So, but yeah, so that kind of goes back to that part of things where that website, like, it has to be just a result people are expecting. Because like I said, if I go and I click on that shoe and I go to that product and it's not there, I'm hopping off every single time. I'm going to hop off and move on. I'm not going to make that purchase. I'm not going to be that conversion that they wanted, but they wasted dollars on the click that I made. And so you want to make sure that that is completely covered in that sense, because if you sit there and you're running ads or talking about, let's say annuals or physicals or something like that, something you want to push that's not just being sick related, you got to make sure that when they engage, that that's going to the right page on your site or going to a landing page. Because ultimately, if you're not doing that, they're just going to say, this is not what I was hoping. I'm moving on. And we know that you have like a couple of seconds to make that conversion, because we know, like, less than 10, it's happening. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. So let's put some numbers to it, right? I like numbers. I hope the people on the call like numbers, because this is what we're going to look at real quick here. But these are all, these are scenarios. These aren't exactly right. But and we're talking about visitors to your website right here. So let's just play some basic numbers. So 1,500 visitors per month. So that sounds like a large number, right? On your website. That's 1,500 people on our website. You'll be surprised how many actually show up on your website on a monthly basis. If you're not looking at your analytics on your website from time to time, you're doing yourself a disservice. And if you're curious what analytics is, at a bare minimum, you can get Google Analytics installed on your website, and you can get a monthly report sent from that software. You can see what's up. But generally speaking, we know 1,500 visitors per month is pretty average. Like, that's not a big number. It's very common. If you're multi-location, that goes into thousands for sure. If you're brand new, sure, you're going to be in the low couple hundred. But generally speaking, if you're an established clinic of some sort, yep, you will definitely have that extra piece of like about 1,500 or so. But all right, so we'll set the table, right? So 1,500 visitors per month to that website. 5% conversion. So we're saying, 75. So when we say conversion, an action was taken. So in that sense, the action is, generally speaking, for an urgent care or for any medical, it's they called or they went online and made an appointment. Now, sometimes that call is an existing customer and they're just changing an appointment or verifying an appointment or need to check on something. We understand that, but it's kind of hard to differentiate that from time to time. But we're saying, so 5% conversion. So in a month, you had 75 calls and or appointments. All right. So they did something. Of that, you had 30% actually fully convert into some type of patient, right? So, and that can be an existing patient that came back after a couple of, a year or two or a few months, or it's a brand new and they just did a search of urgent care near me, medical clinic near me, whatever you guys are part of, the near me part on Google, and they found you, they clicked on you, they went through, they either called or went online and made a full appointment and they showed up. So we're saying 30% of that, you're looking at 22 booked appointments. So we went from 1,500 down to 75 down to 22. And then the basic math of it, we'll just put an average transaction on there of $250. Obviously, that can range quite a bit depending on insurance and services provided. We're just picking an average. So $250, so that's $5,500 in your pocket from those potential new appointments, right? So now we flip over to the scenario number 2. Basic math again, same concept, but now we've increased our conversion by only 10% at the top level, right? So when you do that, you're now you go down to the line, you're like, oh, $16,750. And we only increased our conversion rate by 10% at the top. We didn't necessarily change the conversion rate inside once they've gotten into our system. So think about that. So think about how important that is. It says book jobs. Should have said booked appointments. My bad. But think about the idea, because we didn't change the transaction fee number or anything. But look at that. You're talking 3 times, right? And we start at the top level, and it just makes all the difference. And why is that even important? Because your website is part of that top level conversion. Like you want to see that conversion start to happen. So just kind of think through that and say, like, what else can I do to increase that? And then, of course, this is the tripling the patients and revenue, right? Obviously, this is not total revenue for your company. This is ideally like a revenue generated by a marketing company or just marketing efforts in general. And these are focused on the new patients potentially coming in. And so this is where we talk about, let's start optimizing for that conversion. So when you have actual conversion moving over and so this is just an actual screenshot of one of our clients. And if you notice right here, extremely phone call heavy. There's a reason for that. People still like to make calls. Web forms, like we couldn't track all the way into their appointment system because they're using like a Clockwise or something like that. But because the Clockwise doesn't allow us to talk to it, but we can see 154 phone calls. That's a chunk, right? And then you can see, so GMB clicks just to let you know that is on a Google profile. And here's the thing about your Google business profile is Google doesn't want your visitors to go to your website. They really want them to engage on your Google business profile. We can't stop that. We can't manipulate Google. We can only just play by their rules and take advantage of things when we can. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some free advice. If your Google business profile used to be called Google My Business, if it's not up to snuff, and that can be from reviews, new content, setting the appointment link, putting correct hours, adding your logo and some updated photos, that's huge, because Google really just wants people to stay on google.com in the search result. They want them to engage with that profile. They don't want them to go to the website. But we know deep down what people kind of split up their views, right? So they'll click, and you can even see it right here. So GMB calls versus phone calls. So that phone call was they went to your website and we were able to see a call come through because of our efforts. GMB calls that they never made it to your website, but they clicked the call button on your Google business profile. So look how split that number actually is. It's almost 50-50. And that's a problem, right? That's a challenge, because you don't have a ton of control over that profile. You can add stuff and make some adjustments, but you can't really change the full look of it. You can't make it sound really cool. You have to be very strict, because we talk about the cool part when naming profiles. You got to be careful. So we've had situations where a client wanted to rename their profile just the keyword that they're trying to rank for, and Google blacklisted that profile. So Google wants you to be transparent and honest your whole way through and not manipulate their system. If you manipulate it, you lose. And the last thing you don't want is a blacklist on Google. And people say, well, how can they blacklist you? Oh, they just simply quit crawling your main website and then shut down your profile. So when you do all that, then you're just kind of stuck. You got to have to hit the reset button. And that takes time, and money. So So I just want to show you that right there, just to kind of show what it looks like from just a general optimization part of it. So why is getting your website built to convert important to you? We kind of go through this. Like ultimately, this is to increase your conversion. So if it's not obvious by now, your website has a huge impact on, if you're spending $10,000 on marketing, your website can control how much of that's actually going to convert into potential patients. It just does. Like, so I just want to reiterate, like, we even tell people, if their website's terrible, sorry if it is, and terrible to us, it's old, hasn't been updated in years, it has dated information on it, or doesn't work on the phone very well, if at all. We even tell, like, we don't want to start marketing until your website's done. It has to be done. We even have a package in our world, that our pricing world, that's we include the website just because we need to make sure we win. Because I can throw dollars and stuff all day long, but it's that classic, situation where you got to make sure to, if it's, think about a car, you got to make sure it looks really good and drives really well, because that's that, you ever hear people talk at car dealerships, it's the test drive that convinces someone. Now it's a thing of pricing and just getting the purchase. But if that test drive doesn't go well, and that, you ever sat in a car, you're like, nope, don't like this, I don't like the way it feels, and you hop out when you're car shopping, there you go. Because it may even look kind of good, but when you engage with it and it's like, it's not what I expected, there's your problem. And all that, that money that dealership spent to get you into that door, they lost on the test drive. Same idea with your website. You could be losing on the test drive. Somebody test your website to engage with, to make that conversion, and they didn't like it. So real quick, so I'm about to go through a workbook of information. There is a link right here to get to. If you guys need to have access, yeah. So Hannah's actually going to put that link inside the chat right now, just so you have it. And just want you to engage with that. So we're going to go right, like that link is what we're going to be talking about, but we're giving it to you. So once again, if we go too fast, or you have a bunch of questions, or you just need to kind of digest it later, you'll have that link. It's a Google Doc. You can literally just save it to your own Google Drive, download a PDF of it, whatever you need to do. It's there for you. So just want to make sure you get that link and engage with it. And then, of course, give us feedback and let us know, is there something here that we're going to go through that you wanted to hear, but you didn't? I'd love to talk through that. But let's go through this. So this is on that actual worksheet. We're just kind of going to go through it. So this is the 12 critical elements to enhance conversion. Number 1, speak to your target avatar. What are their fears and frustrations? Speak to why they should choose you. So, and we'll go through the individual details here, but yeah, I mean, when we say target avatar, we're also saying your target demographic. Who are you speaking to? Because you can't say, my service is for everybody. It's not. I mean, you want that, right? Because you want all those people coming in your door, but ultimately that's not what you truly want. You really think it should be more along the lines of, hey, we'll take a simple example. I'm a pediatric urgent care. The reason I bring up the example, it's one of our very successful clients that we have, so we've had these conversations in the past. I'm a pediatric urgent care. So I am talking to not the child, no, never the child, the mom, the new mom. I'm talking about it's a warm process. It's clean, it's easy, it's convenient. So I'm only a couple minutes away from your location. You can get appointments very quickly. We're very caring toward your child. And then we have late hours because we know you're working and you can't take off work immediately. And you kind of define your business around that, because the more you can talk to your particular target, the more likely they're going to convert. I mean, every single time, like we know this, like the more specific you get, the more likely that something good's going to happen. All right. Be real. Use authentic images of your team on the homepage at the website. Yes. Big deal here. Stock photography does not work. Sometimes you're forced it. I get it. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. But if you do have the choice, hire a photographer, a local photographer, and have them do photo shoots. Now, fair warning, I know this from personal experiences. The second you do a team photo shoot, somebody quits. We know this. So be careful, right? But you need photos of your doctors. You need photos of your nursing staff. You need photos of your facility, of your rooms. You want people to feel really inviting, right? Because they're judging you the whole time. And that website is your front door. Like Sure, you have people that drive by, but they even drive by and say, what was that? I don't know. All they see is a sign, or maybe just the actual front piece of the building. They don't see anything else. They go to the website like, what is that? Or they have a need and they look up and they dig in. They're going to convert way more often when they see a real person and they see real people interacting, and it just feels relatable. And another little bonus piece when it comes to using actual images, it is amazing how many people will get a shot of the owners or the main doctors, and they'll put it on the website and they'll push it on social media, and they'll start getting messages. Hey, I didn't know you worked there. I didn't know you owned that. And these are friends or friends of friends that had no idea that that person did that. And it all of a sudden boosted that part of things. So just keep that in mind. That's a little bonus to having real imagery, but yeah, you got to be authentic the whole way through. Obviously, there are some elements where you just have to use a stock photo, but that's okay too. But ultimately, if it's not homepage, trying to make it as real as possible, just using a bunch of photos that you purchased off Canva or something, it'll look kind of like we even had a recent client come on, and on the doctor's page, they had like a generic stock photo. I was like, yeah, we need to just hide this page or not show a photo at all, because that's misleading. You don't want that ever. So just keep that in mind. Next. So this is taking an extra step, right? So use video multimedia elements to engage different modalities. So what does that mean? Videos are super important. We know most people that run videos are going to have higher conversions. These aren't long videos. There are different forms of videos to run, but ultimately, like, you are introducing people to your company. You're introducing people to your process. You're introducing people to your team. And so, or the services that you offer, or the differences that you make. Because I can go ahead and tell you right now, it's way more interesting for someone to go on your website to see a video than to read forever. Like, we know people, this is a general joke. We know people don't read ever. You know, if you can squeeze down your phrase into like 5 words, you'll win. I mean, think about billboards for a second. They don't put paragraphs on billboards. Oh, it's because you're driving by. No, it's because people just don't read very far, and they don't want to read. That you got 5 words or less that say something, and you have to engage in that. So just remember that reading is really for Google. Google wants to read and connect the search properly, but that welcoming video your services, why you can't, go out there and blame competition or put them on the spotlight, but you can say how you do things differently. And I will say this, and I'm sorry for those who think that, we have really great customer service. Everyone says that. So there's not a change there, but if you can show the better customer service, either by a process or a flow, or just the engagement that you create when a new person walks in the door, then you can talk about customer service. Because you can think all day, my customer's better than any competitor. Sure. And they think the same thing. But if you can put some meat to it, it makes it even better. Next is social proof. So social proof is showcasing your online reviews, probably on your homepage. Google review is king. It is. If I got to boil down anything, social proof, it's just super. Don't get stuck in the metric side of thing of social proofing, where social media has changed over the years, and it's really changed in the past 3 to 4 years, especially with like TikTok and stuff coming on, and Facebook kind of getting a negative vibe. Social posting is important to show that you're active and available and open. Because the last thing, so let's say you're a practice and you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Pinterest, you have Instagram, all these platforms, but you haven't posted on them in 2 years or a year, maybe even 6 months. If I don't know who you are, I came to your website, clicked on your social links, and I went out and looked at them, and they all had nothing on there for over a year, I will start to assume you're closed, or I'm going to start to assume that you are not doing well. That's some of the assumptions that may happen. Some people may not even care, but there are those assumptions like, what's going on? And I know that seems like, well, I mean, I'm so busy, I don't have time for that, or I don't want to pay a company. That's fine. I honestly would tell you, it's better to not have it's better to have no profile than a dead one. So keep that in mind. Same with reviews. And we say Google reviews are king because Google reviews do lots of things other than just the review itself. But yeah, Google reviews, they should, the thing with Google reviews, real quick. So it's good to have reviews. It's 100 times better to have an actual review with text behind it, not just a 5-star review. Also, there was a report that just came out about 3 weeks ago that said a 4.6 or a 4.7 average review is more impactful than a 5-star average review, which seems strange. Is because some people just assume, because the industry has shifted over time, people assume if you have 500 reviews and are 5 out of 5, they're assuming some of it's fake. But if you have a 4.6, that's a different assumption, right? There's some 4s and 3s in there, but let's see, did they actually correct the issue or engage with the patient? So let's think about that. If your reviews, you're coming in and you're not answering them, good or bad, if they're all great, that's cool. You still have to respond to them. If they're bad, you have to respond to them. Now, I'm not saying you need to basically say do whatever they want, but you need to say simple. Like we even have some templates and stuff we've used for clients. Like this is a starting point, and you adjust it to your own. But yeah, so let's talk about how, and that's just so important. But on the website itself, you can embed those things. So, because there's the thing, when people have testimonials and stuff, those are very curated, right? Like these are very controlled things. But if you embed a Google review widget on your website, and now you can control it in the sense of only show 5 stars or only show 4 stars or better, but it's live. Like it changes every time a review comes on. It's not static, and people can see that, and they can click on the link and go look at all the reviews. And that's that engagement point when they're trying to figure you out. All right, so that's on that part there. Get back to the basics in order here. So phone, it sounds basic, right? And we'll go through this one, some visuals, but let's talk about this. Phone number in the top right-hand corner. Sounds kind of strange, right? Like, why is that just a standard? Well, in our country, we read left to right. There's a reason why the logo's on the left and the engagement's on the right, because our eyes lead left to right every single time. It's just the way we read. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, if they're reading left to right, top to down, you want to make sure what they're looking for is it within eyesight and reading immediately. You don't want to hide stuff. And as you saw with the previous slide, there's a ton of people calling you, just a ton. And so let's make that easy, right? Online appointment option is a must, or at least a contact form. Yes, 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 and yes. So if you don't have an online appointment option, I just going to have to ask you why. If you're in medical practice and you don't want to do online appointments, why? What's stopping you? I mean, I know there's costs involved, but think about what the cost is that you're losing out on people that can't get an appointment at 10 o'clock at night. Like submit for one, not necessarily go to the clinic at 10 o'clock at night, but they're in bed, they're not feeling good, or they wake up at 5 in the morning feeling terrible. They can't go in on their phone and do it. A quick, simple here's a perfect example of this, unrelated to medical. But so, for instance, my wife, actually yesterday, she had an issue. She could not get to the hair appointment. She had set weeks in advance, couldn't do it. So she tried to call them, wouldn't answer the phone. That's the problem. Then she just went online and submitted. I had to cancel. And she's like, well, I'm going to have to figure out something because she had called them and said it and all this stuff. I said, well, let's go online and see if they have other options, because they had another location. So at 4:30 in the afternoon, go online, boom, there was a 6 o'clock available at their other location, done. And now that company has our dollars because of the online appointment, because we weren't going to call at 5 o'clock because nobody was going to answer. We knew that, but we went online and filled it out, and within 2 minutes had an appointment. Same concept here on your medical. Like, they have to have an online appointment system. If you do, great. If you don't, please look it up. If you need an example, Clockwise, we have a ton of people in Clockwise. I don't say we're not sponsored by it. I don't say it's the best choice. It is a choice that we see a lot of people engage on. Next, add credibility with authority symbols. So, are you accredited? Like, do you have membership with different things? Sometimes it could be even a chamber membership. Are you part of that? They want to see like you're legit, you're part of something, because the reality is any person can spin up a website and pretend to be something, but it gets a lot harder when you're adding all these credibility pieces, because there's things tied to that. And then you just have to gotta show off a little bit, right? Because it doesn't make a difference. It may be small, but it doesn't make a difference. Ensure you have clear call to actions on each page that speaks to your avatar and tells exactly what to do next. Exactly. Don't give them a bunch of choices. Make it very, very simple. We know if you go beyond 3 choices on anything, they're never going to choose the right one. So if there's only 1 or 2 true choices, just make it obvious. And you're going to have to repeat yourself a few times. Any high converting website, you'll see the same call to action mentioned at least twice or more as they scroll down the page, because we know people don't pay attention. And when the second they start to pay attention, they're looking for that next step. Special offers and coupons that match services they're in need of. Yeah, if you guys have a special offer of some sort, who knows what it could be, just engage with that side of things, because that's a huge deal for sure. And that can be as simple as, hey, next time I want you, a little bit of a discount, or it can be we're doing a giveaway. It could be all sorts of stuff. Next is make sure your website is mobile optimized. The click to call function, we'll look at that too. But yeah, boiling down to that website, making sure it's completely mobile friendly. Is it easy to navigate on your phone? Is stuff on top of each other? That's a problem. Is it tap to call? We'll go through that. Live chat. Now our web chat, which can be live, automated, or hybrid. Web chat is something interesting. So you have to be very careful with it, because if you don't have good process around your web chat, it can hurt you. All right. Get pages book online. We talked about that. Site speed does matter. Yes, site speed's a huge deal these days, not just from an end user standpoint, but also from the actual Google side of things. Google really cares about how fast your website is. So we'll talk about that, and then engage with texting and phone. Some automations tied to it, and we'll go through some of that as well. But the texting thing is really big. We know there's a lot of people that don't want to answer their phone, but they'll respond to a text, or they'll click a link in a text to engage with you. It sounds, if you're a clinic has a process where they're calling up to follow up on appointments, and it's just a repetitive, and they never get in touch with those people. They just don't answer their phone. A text they'll respond to makes a big difference.
Okay, that wraps up this episode of how to get your website to convert better. I know Michael dropped incredible value bombs for you to be able to apply to your website, how to make it convert better, and how to get more patients. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Walk-Ins Welcome. We drop a new episode every Wednesday, and this is no exception. We're going to keep doing it every single week. We would love your feedback. Email us, hello@patientcaremarketingpros.com. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we can do better. And then, as always, I want to invite you to leave us a review. A 5-star would be great, but any review would be awesome. As long as it's honest, we appreciate it. And I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time. Thanks.